Hello guys, welcome back to the second episode of Android SQLite database tutorial with Android Studio. So in the previous episode we already learned about how to create a database, how to add tables into the database and how to put informations into the table. So in this episode we are going to learn about how to retrieve the data from the database. So this is the continuation of the previous episode. So here we have to retrieve username, user mobile and user email. So here I am going to get all the informations from the database and display it in a list view. So there is three columns in the list view. First one is the username, second one is the user mobile number, third one is the user email. So we need three columns in the list view, so we have to use a custom adapter and custom layout for the list view. So first, for retrieve informations from the database, we have to add the needed methods into the user db helper class. So open the user db helper class. So this is the method used to insert informations into the database. Now here I am going to create another method for retrieve informations from the database. So public void get informations. Okay, and this method need an object of SQLite database. I name it as db. And if you retrieve the informations from the SQLite database, you will get the informations in the form of a cursor object. So here the return type is cursor object. So here the return type is cursor class. So first we have to create an object of cursor. I name it as cursor. Second, you have to create some projections. Projections are nothing but the needed column names. So here we need column names like username, user mobile number and user email. So create a string array with the name projections. So here we need username, user mobile and user email. We can get the column names from the contractor class. Here the contractor class is user contract and the inner class name is new user info, and the first column name is username, second column name is user mobile, and the last one is user email. New user info dot user email. Okay, so you can get the informations from the SQLite database by using a method called query, and you have to use the SQLite database object to call the query method. So here I am going to call that method db.query, and you have to pass some number of arguments into this method. So here is the number of arguments you need to pass into this query method. The first one is the table name. You have to specify your table name, and you have to specify projections. Projections are nothing but a string array that contain the needed names of columns. And the third argument is selection. Selection is the where clause. If you use some conditions to retrieve data, you have to specify it as the third argument. And the fourth argument is selection arguments. Selection arguments means the values for the where clause. And the fifth argument is the group rows. Sixth argument is filter by row groups, and final one is the sort order. So here we are going to get all the informations from the database. So we need only the table name and projections. Here there is no conditions are used, so there is no need to pass all these arguments. So you can pass null value for the unwanted arguments. So here I am going to use the arguments. First one is the table name. So new user info dot table name. Second one is the selections, the projections, so use the projections. Now we have to pass 5 null values. There is no there is no selection arguments, there is no groups row, there is no filter by row groups and sort order. So we have to pass 5 null values. Okay, and we have to get these informations into the cursor object. This will return an object of cursor, and finally here I am going to return the cursor object, so return cursor. Okay, so this is the method that will get all the informations from the database and return it as a cursor object. So now we have to get all these informations from the cursor object, and we have to display the informations in a list view. So now we have to create another activity for displaying the list view. So here I am going to create a new activity. So right click the project and select activity and select the blank activity. Okay, here I name it as list activity. I name it as data list activity because list activity is a keyword. So here I change it as data list activity and change the layout into data list layout. Okay, and click finish. Now we got another activity called the data list activity. So here in this activity, in this layout, we have to add a list view. We don't need all these padding attributes. I remove all these padding. Okay, add a list view. Specify the width as match parent, height also match parent. Now we have to specify some ID for this list view. So Android ID plus ID, I name it as list view. Okay, now we got a new list view on the newly created layout. Now I am going to change the background color. So go to the main activity home.xml file. We need the same color. So I copy this color code, go back to the newly created layout and change the background color. Android background, paste it here. Okay, so I change the background color. So now we have to create a custom layout for the list view because we have to display 3 columns in each row. The first column is the username, second column is the user mobile number, and the final column represents the user email address. So we have to create a custom layout for this list view. So create a new layout file, layout resource file. I name it as row layout and click OK. Now here we have to create each row for the list view. So first we need 3 text view. At the first text view, I specify the width as 100 dp, height into wrap content. Now specify an ID for this, Android ID plus ID, text user name, Also here I'm going to change the background color of this layout. So copy the same color code again. Now come back to the row layout and change the background color using Android background attribute and paste the color here. Okay, and provide a text for this text view Android text. Here name. Okay, now we have to align this one at the center. So use Android gravity into center. Now we have to I change the font color Android text color into a black color. Yeah, now it's attractive. Okay, so now we have to add another text view. Copy this text view. Before I have to change the orientation into horizontal. Now paste the text view here. Change the ID for this text view. User mobile. Okay, here mobile number. Check the design. Now here we got the mobile number, and finally we have to add another text view for displaying the email address. So change this width into 150. Okay, now we have to add another text view for displaying the email address. User email. Also change this one into 175, width into 175 dp. It's over. I change this one into 125. Change this one into 160. Yeah, now it's okay. Okay, now we have one row of data: name, mobile, and email. Here email. Also change the height of the parent. Here I am going to change the height of the parent into 40 dp. That's enough. Also provide a margin at the top. Android margin top into 10 dp. Yeah, now it's looking fine. Okay, now we successfully create the one row for the custom list view. Now we have to now go back to the data list activity. There is no need of this options menu. Remove all the unwanted codes. Now here you need to create an object of list view. So first create an object of list view here. I name it as a list view. Now we have to initialize this object. So list view equal to find view by id r.id dot our list view id is list view. Typecast this one into list view. So here we need an object of SQLite database. So create an object of SQLite database, name it as SQLite database. Also for insert, for getting the informations from the database, we need an object of the user db helper. So create an object of user db helper. I name it as user db helper. User db helper. Okay, and one more thing, go to the activity, main activity. So when user click the view contact button, we have to display the list view. So we have to create the appropriate method for this button. So the on click method for this button is view contact. So we have to create this method on the main activity. So go to the main activity and create that method, public void view contact. Don't forget to add the view argument. Okay, now we have to start the data list activity. So create an object of intent, name it as intent equal to new intent, pass the context object. Now specify the activity name. The activity class name is data list activity dot class. Okay, now we have to start the activity. So use the start activity method and pass the intent object. This will start the activity that contain the list view. Okay, now go back to the data list activity. So now we have to get the informations from the database. So first we have to initialize the SQLite database object. So SQLite database equal to new SQLite database. Yeah, this is wrong, this is not correct. First we have to initialize the user db helper object. So initialize the user db helper object equal to new user db helper. You need to pass an object of context here. I use the get application context. Okay, now we have to initialize the SQLite database object, and you have to initialize the SQLite database object using the user db helper class object. So user db helper dot, and here we are going to read the informations from the database. So use this method get readable database. Okay, now we have to get the informations. So for get the informations from the database, so this method will return a cursor object. So we can check that method. So when you call this method get informations, this will return an object of cursor. We get the informations from the database in the form of a cursor object, and we need to analyze the cursor object to get the informations from it. So we need to create an object of cursor object in the data list activity. So create an object of cursor here. I name it as cursor. So now we have to get the informations from the database. So cursor equal to user db helper dot get informations, and you have to pass the SQLite database object into this method. So this will get the informations from the database, and we got it in the form of a cursor object. Now we have to analyze this cursor object. So first we have to check if there is some data is available on the cursor object. So cursor dot, you have to call the method move to next, move to first. This will return true if there is some information, some rows are available on the cursor object. It will return false if there is no informations are available. So now we have to analyze all. Now we have to get each row. For that, here I am going to use a do while loop. and use cursor dot move it to next. This method will return true if there is another row is available, and it will return false if there is no subsequent rows are available. Okay, now we have to display all these informations, all these rows in the list view. So for displaying all these informations in the list view, we have to add a custom adapter. So that will explain in the next episode. So please go to the next video for getting more informations about how to retrieve informations from the database.